Welcome to the Aussie Grappling Girls podcast,
where we talk all things female jiu-jitsu.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Hannah.
And together, we're Joe Hannah. All right, welcome back to the podcast. In case everybody has been living under a rock, we just got back from the AGIG Camp.
Man, that was some hectic times. So fun, but hectic.
Yeah. Awesome weekend, though.
The travelling getting there was quite the adventure.
It was very arduous.
Yeah, very. It was quite fun, and man, it all kind of worked out in the end, but on the actual day of travelling up there, it was
man, my stress levels were through the roof.
Luckily, we travelled so well together. Otherwise, I think that could have been
a
worse situation.
Yeah.
You know that person that just gets so uptight when they're traveling?
Or they take ages to get their shit together when you're trying to leave, and you're like, are you ready yet? Are you ready? And they're like, I just have to go and get this and this.
And you're just about to walk out the door like, I want to make a coffee. And you're like, you had half an hour to do
go. No, we were pretty onto it. We were pretty sharp. But we talked to a lot of the girls about at the camp about it, so we don't want to dwell on it too much in case a lot of them are actually listening. They're like, yeah, we already heard this. But we had some serious issues with flights that began 11 hours before our flight. We got a last minute notification.
I was so mad.
I was driving to your house and you sent me a message and and you were just like, our flights have been cancelled.
I got on the phone straight away to try and get them changed, and they were like, call back in an hour. I'm just like, kidding me, right? Okay. And then I was like, okay, let's get in the car and go.
Got in the car and left, and we're like, we'll sort this out on the drive up.
And then I called an hour later, and then they're like, I'm sorry, we couldn't get you other flights. So we had to pay for other flights to get over to Sydney.
Booking flights within 24 hours of the flight turns out to be pretty expensive.
It is, and not having reception.
So we booked that was annoying. We booked these flights 3 months ago?
Yeah, it was
quite a while. It was back in September, October or something.
It was ages ago.
When we decided to go on the camp. Anyway, no, I think we booked our flights later on. But anyway,
it was still a good 2 months before.
Yeah, it was $400. $500 return flights back then, and then it was going to be $500 for a single flight one way.
And we were trying to find the time frames so we could actually get to the boat in time. One of them was a couple of $1,000s to get early, and I was just like, I don't have that money.
Yeah.
So we had to pretty much book the only flats that were affordable, and about the rough.
In the right time, because we did have to catch a boat when so we'd have to get a train to a boat to catch the boat to the island where the camp was, and some of the flights didn't really allow for enough time to be able to do that, but we ended up finding some that were leaving at 5:30 on Friday morning,
but they had a stopover in Melbourne, so we flew to Melbourne first.
So we ended up staying the night in Perth. Got about 2.5 hours sleep. Had to get up about 3:30, and then we got on the flight. Stopover in Melbourne. Finally got to Sydney. I remember stopover in Melbourne. We were I was stressing about whether our bags are gonna get transferred.
I was like, stop it, because you said it. I'm like, don't you dare say anything about that, because
I was super I had major anxiety about that. I don't know why, and there was a part of me that really just wanted to ask someone, just our bags will be transferred, right? And I just sort of slightly mentioned it to Hannah, and you were just like, don't even. Yeah.
I have
don't even go there.
rules about that sort of stuff. And that one is just no. Bitch, please. Can't do that to me.
Don't jinx it.
But when we got there, we did fly into Sydney half an hour late, though.
Yeah.
That was
So that was stressing us too, because we got in late, and we were like, fuck, we've got to hustle to the train.
Which was 10 minutes late, luckily for us. Otherwise, we probably would have missed that train.
Yeah. So we got on that train. Because we got one to Central first, and then the one at Central was late. We finally got on that train, and as we got on it, we saw there were other AGIG girls there.
And they kind of called us in. We were like,
hey.
this one. And I was wearing Australian Girls in Gi hoodie, and one of the chicks was just like, "Oh yeah, it's here," and I was like, "Thank God for that."
I was so relieved to see other people on the train because I thought we were fucked.
Yeah, when we sat down, I was just like, "Yes." This is the most relieving feeling ever.
That was a stressful hour getting from the plane to like the train and stuff.
Then we got onto a quiet carriage, which we didn't realise, and got shushed by that dude.
Oh fuck, I forgot about that. That dude and this guy behind me was just like, "Excuse me," and I was like, "Yes," and he was like, "This is a quiet carriage." I was like, "Okay." I'm sorry, I don't see any sign anywhere. I didn't say that to him, but I was just like super miffed, like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, we were actually really talking quietly. We weren't being loud and obnoxious like we usually are.
Carriage, there was no one else talking, so obviously we stood out a bit. But this guy, man.
But mate. we have really bad luck with trains, actually. We got fined a couple of years ago.
In Melbourne, we got fined.
We had our feet resting on the other like seats after being in the city all day, and we got fined like $230.
That was horrendous.
I was so mad.
That was right before I went to France, so I was just like, I can't be dealing with these kinds of fines.
I had a busted knee.
They were like, I remember when they were like, "What's your address in Australia so we can send the fine?" I was like, "I don't have one anymore. I'm leaving."
Yeah.
I was like, I'm genuinely telling the truth. I was like, I won't be here. And they're like, "Oh, well, do you have a family member we can send it to?" And I was like, "Well, you can send it to my brother, but I don't think that he would pay it or receive it." I think they sent it to my parents in the end.
It was pretty funny. Anyway, that's a little story down there.
I digress. So we've only got on that train and got to Hawkesbury Station, and as we were getting off the train, it was like
just leaving.
We got there at 3:40 on the train, and it was like we're like hustling to get there because it was gonna leave at 3:45. It was like 3:42. I checked my phone for the time, and I see the ferry just like leaving off in the distance. So I was like, "Fuck no!" And we got to the wharf, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it just left." And I was like, "Fuck no!"
I think though they didn't realize that the train was late, so they had checked up there thinking that the train had been and gone.
Yeah.
And then so they're like, "Okay, everyone's here."
Yeah, okay, I forgive them, it's fine. But we had to wait like another hour and to get a water taxi, which was good because it actually allowed me to get some snacks, which I didn't have.
I feel like it gave us downtime to chill and not
we'd been so high stress for like 3
in our
hours
own mind. It was kind of like, "Oh, we're going to be late."
Yeah.
And we'd kind of come to terms with it.
Yeah.
And
there were another 4 girls that were also on the train with us. And so we were like, at least we're not the only ones that are late.
Yeah.
So it was okay. And we just chilled. We got some snacks, which was good because I hadn't actually brought any, and I was really, really grateful for the snacks that I bought at camp because I really needed them. And we all got a water taxi and split, which was like it was $120 for 6 of us. So we all had to.
It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. But it was just still like, we're like, fuck, more money to shell out. Jesus Christ. Like, we're gonna walk in like absolute idiots into this like room full of people and be like, "Hey, we're the late guys."
But at the end of the day, we got there, and we're lucky that there was the water taxi and everyone who helped us along the way. They were really good, and as stressful as it was, it happens, and it was literally out of our hands. I mean, that's what happens when you travel so far. You're really out of control with that sort of stuff. You can't...
and we did the best we could in the situation we got given. So
oh well, pretty much like the worst that could ever happen happened to us. But we got there and had an
like
epic had an epic weekend though.
Yeah. So we arrived right when they were giving the opening speeches. So we missed like the orientation for like the cabins and all that sort of stuff. So it wasn't too bad because they were just meeting in the rec hall. Everyone had their gears on ready to go, and they were just doing the opening speeches, which was really good because we got to catch some of them. And that really set the tone for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Because just the way that, Jess just set up the sort of attitude that she wanted everyone to have about the weekend, and just those, those sort of like the housekeeping rules, but also some other things to keep in mind, which was really good because it really set up that sort of like, I don't want any bitching, gossiping, negativity, like that malicious competitiveness, and like everyone really took that on board because it just set it all up to be like that.
Having a standard set as well is really important because everyone rose to the challenge of it, and it's like, this is my expectation of you. Yeah. The only person who is going to ruin it if you do these things. Yeah. And so my bar is up here, and I really want all of you to rise to that challenge. And everyone was there to have fun and to have an experience. And I thought that was really cool as well, that it was seriously the best vibe the whole weekend. Yeah, I could not fault the camp at all. Yeah.
And setting the tone for that at the start was awesome. It was a really good move, and it just created the whole vibe for the rest of the weekend to follow.
And that just there was no sense of clickiness, of bitchiness, or any separation. Everyone was one.
Yeah, and everyone was happy to mingle or do their own thing, and people respected if someone else wanted to do their own thing, which is another thing that Jess talked about at the start was, if you're on your own and you want to do your own thing, just own it, and everyone else, let that person have their own time. And she said that about her. She's like, if you see me by myself, don't approach me because I'm having my own time. It's not, no one's being a cunt because they're having their own time. They're just being their normal human self, and some people need that. So everyone was super respectful of each other and their needs, and everyone had I think a lot of people had like one friend or one familiar face that they knew, and it was really good because they didn't feel completely isolated, but they could also mingle and make other friends. So
no, it was awesome. We pretty much threw our bags on the deck, listened to all the opening of the camp, got our geese on, and then started rolling, which was perfect.
Yeah. I initially was thinking, I was like, fuck, man, I'm way too stressed and tired from the day. I was like, I've only had 2.5 hours sleep, been up all day, stressing as fuck. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to roll. And then once I got into it, I was like, fuck yeah, this is what I need. It was so good.
Probably by the second roll, my mind had completely forgotten about our day.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, hey.
It was so cool, but jiu-jitsu does that for me. I think that's why I've clung to it so much, is because I can totally forget about my day. Yeah.
It absorbs you so much into the realm of jiu-jitsu when you're doing it. That is all that is there.
So often, and it usually only is towards the end, that I start thinking that I'm hungry, that I want to end it. But usually, as soon as I'm on the mat, I just forgot about how stressful the day was. I got to roll every single colour belt. How mad is that? I got all females.
Pretty sure I did too, yeah.
That was just the coolest thing ever.
That was wicked.
I got to... and once I kept going, I don't know where my energy came from. I was just like, I'll have a rest. Nah.
I started off having a couple of like really hard rolls for me physically because I was so tired. When I don't sleep well, my cardio is shit. And so the first probably 4 rolls I had, I was like, roll, rest, rest. Because I was like, ugh, I'm dying.
I had to do that the first couple as well because I needed water because
oh my God,
was so hot.
I was the same. I was drinking so much and my tummy was so gluggy full of water, but I was like, I still don't have enough because it was very, very humid, and it's definitely not the Albany climate that we're accustomed to.
Not even close.
So it took a bit of acclimatization for us. And so the first couple of rolls, I was just dying. And then I finally kind of like got my groove where you roll a bit smarter where you can conserve your energy in that. And it was in gi, and I find it harder to conserve my energy in gi. I think it's just because it's not my go-to natural sort of thing. No gi, I can do for so long without getting tired because I'm really good. I'm good at conserving my energy, and I'm a bit lazy.
Well, your chill spots and...
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about being pinned down by something and working so hard to try and get out of it, whereas like in gi, you have to work so hard to work out, like, to get out of those pins and also pin yourself. So it takes, for me, it takes a lot more of my energy and my gas tank. But once I start rolling a bit more smartly, and some rolls I had were more fluid, and I sort of varied between high belt, low belt, high belt, low belt to help that gas tank a bit. And I found a really good groove with it.
Isn't it amazing though? You like, there's 140 people, 140 females at this camp, and you just got to just have your smorgasbord of who you wanted to roll. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah. It was awesome.
You don't get that opportunity. You just, in any other open mat scenario, that has never happened to you ever.
Yeah, no. I've never, ever had that before in my life.
It's just
back-to-back rolls with girls. And it's its own challenge, and it's its own comfort too, which is amazing, because rolling with guys is a challenge too. But, like, when you roll a girl, the way that you roll is really similar in lots of aspects.
Yes.
And your strengths are very similar. And so you kind of have to roll a little bit differently, or at least you have to take on the other person a bit differently. And so there's this whole other mental game that you have to play, as well as physical. But then there's also a comfort in knowing that you're matched more with strength and size.
Yeah.
And so it's this really interesting balance between comfort and challenge that
definitely.
you never get.
And it's kind of good, because usually for me, I'm always battling people who are heavier than me and stronger than me. So I have to be faster. I have to be more on point, and I can't be lazy.
Yeah.
But it's like I got to relax in rolls more so to a degree, and depending who I was rolling.
Yeah.
And then some were just battles that you were just like, I sunk so many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
But none of the rolls were malicious. That's what I love. Everyone had fun. I cracked up laughing half the time.
Yeah.
That seems to be my thing though. When someone does something cool or I do something stupid, you're like, damn it! And it was just...
The rolls were all they were really good in terms of that combativeness, where you go, like, you just both want to roll each other as hard as you can, and with the best jiu-jitsu that you can do. But there's none of that sort of, like, maliciousness behind it, where you want to kill them because you have, like, a vendetta against them, or you're like, I have my ego to stroke right now. It's just like, you're like, I just want to do the best jiu-jitsu that I can for me, because I want to see where I'm at and what I need to improve, and I also want to take away what I can from our role, you know, to improve myself, or to give back to you and help you out because there were times when I rolled someone and I was able to help them with things that they needed to improve, or they sort of noticed things about the way that I rolled that were like, that's really cool, or like, you do this a lot and it was like really hard for me to deal with, and that then, you know, it starts that cycle of like that passing on knowledge. And
I did that a few times where I was just like, that was really cool. That was like, I got excited when someone nailed a move. Yeah. And you're just like, oh my God, I can tell you do that all the time.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I appreciate just slick movement.
Yeah.
When someone passes your guard and it is so strong and you just totally got baited into something, you're just like, holy fuck, that was amazing. I had so many little moments where I just appreciated the person I was training and rolling with.
Yeah. You know what I've come to really appreciate is like when girls cross-face really well and smartly.
Yes.
So like I've only really started cross-facing a lot in the last 6 to 12 months, and I've noticed it does a lot for me with my rolls. And the awesome thing about like a lot of these girls that were cross-facing is it had a purpose all the time. It wasn't just a cross-face to be nasty and be like, I just want to make you uncomfortable. It's like, I want to make you uncomfortable so that you give me something.
Yes.
Not just because I'm like enforcing my will on you and being like, I can just cross-face the fuck out of you.
It's hard to understand that concept. I'm only just starting to understand it now and using it more to my advantage. And because I was the same as you, I was like, oh, I don't want to cross-face. Yeah. But when you get cross-faced in a certain situation, you move and you're like, okay, I see what...
I see the purpose behind that.
I totally get what you're doing.
Whereas, like, there's been times in the past where I've been cross-faced by, like, bigger dudes, and I'm just like, you don't need to do that to me right now, because it's kind of you just getting your dick out, in a way. It's just, and it just makes me feel like horrible, but I don't have anything to give you. Like, you know, when you're in a scenario and you get cross-faced and you're like, I don't have anything to give you from this cross-face. It's like, if someone's cross-facing you for a reason where you go, oh, like, okay, you can have that leg or you can have that arm or whatever it is because of the cross-face, and then you go, yeah, that was a good, purposely used cross-face. Yeah. Other times you're just like, what a fucking dick.
How cool is it, though, that you take, like, because you get to, like, Australian girls in gi camps give you the opportunity to roll so many different types of people. Types of females.
Yeah, the variation.
So it's not like a cookie cutter why they do something.
Yeah, everyone's got
it's
a different
everyone's
reason
got
for why they do something.
A slightly different take.
And it usually depends on like their body type or you know, like their strengths, because some girls have really good hip movement where they can do arm bars really well, and then others have really awesome arms where they can do chokes really well and that sort of thing. And so everyone builds their own little game based around the mechanisms of their body quite a lot. Like with females, they're really particularly in the way that they hone their games because of their body types and sizes. And also as well, I think it can be really reflective, obviously, of the gym that they come from and the types of guys that they train with and the way that they have to beat the guys, the way that they hone their game to be able to do that. And we saw that in like the seminars that we had, the different approaches and the different techniques that we got from them were really reflective of that too.
I think on the first night we rolled until we got told that like dinner finished in an hour or something, or it only went for an hour, and we kind of
it was like I think it was like 7:30 or later, and they were like, dinner finishes at 8, and we're like, oh shit. I was like, I'm hungry. Yeah,
we just kept going and going, and that was really good. The food was amazing. That was just good, solid food all weekend.
And like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't anything out of a fancy restaurant, but it was like, when you're considering that it was catering for 140, 150 people, the type of catering and food that it was actually really good.
Because we were expelling so much energy, like you needed to have decent food.
Well-rounded meals. Yeah, and they were all really well-rounded meals, good quality. Like when we had chicken breast on the first, roast chicken on the first night, like it was good roast chicken. It was like, it wasn't, you know, like reconstituted chicken drumsticks or, you know,
and
like
so much food as well. You didn't feel like you had to be stingy in what you ate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, some people could go back for seconds and all that sort of thing. So,
that's saying something. I think if you go to a camp and there's amazing food, that is half your battle. Totally. Yeah, I think it was satisfying to sit down and just. We'd got the day over too. Yeah, and it felt good. Yeah. It was just like, okay, we're here. We just had mad rolls and we're excited. Yeah. That was so awesome.
Yeah. And some people decide to go down and go for a swim in the pool later on after that, after dinner and all that sort of thing.
We went down just to kind of hang out.
Yeah, I just went down to sort of be amongst people, but I didn't end up really talking to many people. But it was nice just to sort of be around others and just see other people having fun. And I was like, it's not like, I'm not feeling super social right now, but it's nice to be around everyone else. And
it was good because I saw one of the chicks from Perth that I hadn't actually met, but we'd been talking for ages. And so we like had a good old chat, and just, it's funny how many people we actually knew, but we meet over in Sydney. Yeah. We live in the same state, but met over in camp. It's so random. Yeah. But that was really good. I went to bed really content that night after I got time to chill. I didn't stay up late. Yeah, we got to bed at a pretty good hour. And I was pretty tired, but I didn't manage to get to sleep. Yeah, but you're a shit sleeper.
I think I got to sleep about 3 a.m., but... You know. Considering I only had 2.5 hours sleep, I thought I was just going to like conk out and die. But when I travel, I just don't sleep well. And my bed had that weird plastic thing for a bedwetter. I'm not a bedwetter, all right? But my bed had a bedwetting thing on it, and that just fucked me up even more. I was like, what is this weird... It's like this really weird plastic rubber thing underneath me. And I felt wet during the night. I woke up, I was like, in the early hours, I was like, am I sweating heaps? Or like, what's going on? Because our rooms were air conditioned, which was like...
So cold.
Oh my God, thank fuck.
I got really
Brilliant.
cold in the morning.
Really, yeah. They aircon the room so much and didn't give us enough blankets that we're like, what the fuck, man? How am I cold right now? But yeah, it was weird because I was like, did I wet the bed, or I was like, maybe I needed this up.
So I'm so glad that there was aircon though.
Yeah.
Because sleeping in
saving
mugginess, oh my god, that would have
Yeah.
been horrible.
Yeah, that would have been horrendous.
We had a sleep talker in our room.
Yeah, no snorers, but someone was sleep talking. I was watching something on my iPad, and it was like really late, like some stupid hour, and I heard someone talk, and it startled me because it was outside my earphones. I was like, wait, what? What was that? And I like took my earphone out. I was like, waited and listened, and then it happened again. I was like, it's like someone's talking.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
God,
But
is that you?
It didn't make any sense what they were saying though. I couldn't make it out.
I wonder if they knew. I don't know who it was. I wonder
Yeah.
if they knew that they're a sleep talker.
Probably not.
So funny.
It was
I
hilarious.
did take earbuds to block out any noise, which was really helpful for me.
Yeah.
Except I still heard that person
Oh god.
because I wake up to anything. So
Yeah.
it's a little camp recommendation is always
Yeah.
take
Oh, that first night someone left lights on out in
Yeah. I kept waking up
patio
and
area?
thinking because they were floodlights.
Yeah.
I kept thinking that it was
Morning.
time to get up,
Yeah.
and then I would look out the other window and see pitch black, and I
Yeah,
was like,
you're like,
"Oh,
oh.
okay, I'll go back to sleep."
I felt really bad with this girl across on the bunk, like on the far side from me. She was on the top bunk, and the windows literally like the beam of light was like shining right on her. And I looked up, and she had like a pillow or something over her face, or like her blanket, and I was like, oh, poor thing.
The next night,
just
I
couldn't be
found
bothered.
the light switch and I turned it off.
Yeah,
because I was just like, I ain't dealing with that.
Yeah, I was on the bottom bunk underneath it, so I didn't have any issue with it. But I almost did it for the other people, and I was like, I can't be fucked. And if they have an issue, they'll do it themselves.
You asshole.
I know. Even though I was up till three, I still didn't want to get out of bed. It's like, I'm awake, but I'm not gonna get up.
They did have in the morning yoga. But
Yeah, I thought that was a really, really good idea to do. A lot of girls hit it up. I think at least half.
yeah,
of them would
I
have
think
been
it was
there.
half.
Because that ran from 7 till 8 a.m. and then breakfast was from 8 till 9.
Neither of us did participate in that though.
No. I would have liked to because I think my body needed it. I was feeling really jacked, and especially after all the travel. But I just needed that extra hour of sleep because I got to sleep so late. But I thought it was a really good idea.
I need in the mornings to just be in my own mind, have my coffee, and just kind of prepare myself for the day because I knew that it was going to be an intense day. And there's only so much learning I can do.
Yeah.
I know that.
I think that
So-
I think that first morning I woke up pretty early, but like I hustled to get the laundry on before everyone else wanted to use the washing machine. And then I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna chill for another hour.
But it was good. I got my 2 coffees in, and then just everyone started filling up the lunchroom, the dining area.
Yeah, the breakfast was good because it was really like that sort of buffet style situation where it had some scrambled eggs and some bacon, some sausages,
Fruit or yogurt.
Yeah, I like the variation. Like you could have sweet or savory because in the morning I'm really 50-50 and sometimes I like both. So it's like it was good to have like a bit of scrambled eggs and toast and then also have some fruit too. So
I'm not a big breakfast person, but I made myself eat breakfast because I was like, I need fuel for the day.
yeah. Yep. And then we headed on down for the first no-gi session.
Which was Jess, and we did wrestling, like stand-up wrestling
Yeah, it was
style.
all about
It was
takedowns.
sweet.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it was really awesome. The way that it ran was very smart because we did groups of 4. And so like 2 people went and then the other 2 sort of spotted and then they went. And we did takedown variation that was sort of like one theme but 3 variations.
I think that is such a good way of teaching because people don't realize that they're doing the same thing over and over again, like the start of it over and over again, but you're building on it. And then by the 3rd one, people are like, oh yeah, oh this is like really easy now. And you're like, it's because you've just been doing it for the last hour.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. And
such a clever way of teaching.
It was great. And the seminar went for about an hour and a half, I think. And it was really good to get that, the reps in. And there weren't the way that the groups were organised, it stopped that sort of really busy mat with not enough space to do. Because with takedowns too, they can take up a lot of space too. There were a lot of people on the mat. And so going in groups of 4 was a very smart way of doing it. And the time allowed us to get enough sort of reps in. And at the end of the seminar, she actually got everyone to, not everyone, sorry, but like she chose people randomly out of the group to do a demonstration of the techniques that she learned, that she taught us. And so she'd go like do number 1, do number 2, number 3 or whatever.
And like changed it because people were probably who were doing it slightly wrong. A lot of people were doing it slightly like
in the same wrong thing, yeah. So they got to see the common mistakes that people were making right out there for everyone to see.
So I was lucky enough to be one of those people as well. So I was kind of like, what do I have to do? A little bit nervous, but at the same time, I was really happy to get up there. And she asked me to do the one that I thought I struggled with the most too, and it was just something really simple to change in what I was doing, but it made such a huge difference, and it was so awesome to have, because I was like, that definitely was the one that I struggled with. So it was awesome to have that correction made, and I think it was a really common mistake that other people were doing as well. So it was just so good, and I love that putting people on the spot too. Show me how you do it. I actually really, it makes people really, everyone pay attention because you don't know if you're going to be chosen. So you really are running through everything in your mind, and it's like forced review. Yeah. And I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was wicked. I really enjoyed the seminar. And then the rolling that we had afterwards was no gi. So I was like, yes, I'm in my element.
I had so many fun rolls.
Oh, God. I can't even count how many rolls I had, but we were going for a long time, and it was awesome, the amount of rolls that I had and the types, the variation and all that sort of thing. Like, oh, man.
Again, we rolled till literally we got called up for lunch.
Yeah.
And they were just like, okay, it's only served for an hour, like, and we had to hustle again because we were just having so much fun and just one more.
Yeah.
I kept thinking
and then
to
you
myself,
catch someone else and you're like, yeah, let's go again.
They're like, you want to roll? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so good. I just had so much fun.
That was wicked. We headed out for lunch, and we had like, I think it was chicken fajitas or like self-made
chicken wrap things.
Chicken wrap sort of things.
Tortillas.
I made myself a chicken chili wrap, and it was glorious. I was like, yes!
I inhaled mine. I was so hungry.
Yeah.
And it just tasted so good.
Oh, yeah.
I think when you're that hungry, food is just amazing.
Yeah, no matter what.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. And we had some time in that afternoon because the next seminar wasn't going to be until 4:30. Well, we had pictures at 4 and then the seminar at 4:30. So we had a good 4 hours there where we could just chill and sort of do our own thing, whether it was socialize or for me, I just took some time to be alone. I just listened to some music, went for a walk on the beach and took some pictures and that sort of thing. So I really, really liked being able to have my own downtime at that point.
I helped set it up. They had a beach ball. That was the theme of the ball for the evening. So I helped. We had all these blow up balloons and stuff that needed blowing up. So we spent hours. There was a few of us doing that, and it was kind of cool because it gave you a hook with people.
Yeah. And
we just got to talk about all sorts of things and have a laugh and carry on a little bit, which was super fun. So it was kind of nice. No pressure. It was good. I just had fun of being a part of something as well, and helping out and feeling like I wasn't just doing nothing.
Yeah. And so the last seminar we had on the Saturday was Natalia Dore. She's a brown belt who trains in Queensland.
And
she's Brazilian,
that was a gi session.
That was gi, yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah,
how
I
she
really enjoyed that.
Was just amazing. I love how it was reaction based on what like belt level you probably
yeah, so
are?
she broke it down into she had the concept of the pass that she was kind of going through, and then it was sort of each belt level how they would react to you trying to pass in a certain way, and then how you'd respond to that, which was really good. So it broke it down, you know, this is how a white belt would react as the bottom person, so this is what I do in my pass to get around that. And so that was like really simple to begin with, and we could rep it, and we had time, you know, we did top person for a couple of minutes, the bottom person for a couple of minutes, and then we did, and then it was blue belt, how they'd react, and then that's how, you know, you do this, and then purple belt, and then brown belt, which I thought was really great way to break it down.
Yeah, how she broke it down, I thought was just, it's such a clever way of doing things.
Yeah.
How so many different people can react to the same thing.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong way, and I think that really highlighted that.
Yeah.
There's lots of different ways to react to one particular movement.
Yeah, that's right. I like sneakily in my head, I was just like, I've been in this situation. I totally reacted like the brown belt. I was like, but sometimes I've done a purple belt or like blue. I'm like, I know, like I can remember points where I've been in that scenario and done each reaction. Like I can remember. I go like, I remember reacting like that here, and I remember reacting like that here. And I know that every time you are in that situation and you're unsuccessful with it, that's how you learn and you create a new reaction for yourself. And that's kind of how your mind works, and how you get better in jiu-jitsu is you work with the errors that you make and you make an adjustment. And each time you make an adjustment, it's a learning experience, and that's how you actually get better, and your level of jiu-jitsu improves because you problem solve a certain scenario, and your problem solving gets better and more intricate and more educated.
And you already know the reaction of someone else. If you do this, this is going to happen, and you're playing the chess game before it even happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an awesome way to break it down. And she also has really great teaching skills at, because I know she's actually one of the main coaches at her gym, or she helps run a lot of classes and teaches a lot, and she teaches a lot of kids too. And so being able to break that down for everyone at all levels was just phenomenal. It
was definitely one of my favorites. Actually, all of them were my favorites.
Yeah, actually, like I can't choose a favorite, but they were all great. And then we rolled gi afterwards, and GL called me out because we'd had this epic no gi battle on the Friday evening, because I took my gi off at the end, and we had a no gi battle, and she was like, oh, when we're in the gi, like, we're gonna roll and I'm gonna come after you. And so we had this awesome battle in the gi too, which was so fun, and we had a good laugh over it.
It was pretty funny to watch. I stopped rolling just so I could watch you roll. It was so good.
It was a good battle. I felt like it was both of us like had very intelligent sort of like reactions and parts.
You were laughing a lot. Both of you were just having so much fun with it.
It was good fun.
I love that when you just get to roll with someone and just crack up laughing half the time because you're just enjoying it so much. Couldn't wipe the smile off either of your faces.
Yeah, and it was great because she didn't want to get the best of me, like in that sort of like mean way, like, fuck, I've got to beat this stupid purple belt. It was like, I'm gonna try and fuck you up. Yeah. And like, I know you're gonna try and fuck me up. And it was just like that really sort of funny scenario where you're just like, no. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious.
I felt like I shifted back into gi quite well because I haven't been training that much it's like no gi season at the moment. So I feel like I had been neglecting gi classes, but it all came back to me and I was very surprised.
Like, oh, it is like riding a bike.
Yeah, it was like this grip battle, like, oh, God, like, get off my arms. But that was fun. It was good to try. I really tried to do what we had learnt as well. Yeah. To really get into that habit of, whenever I get taught something, really try and replicate it in my roles afterwards. Yeah. So that was like really
staple it in your mind.
Yeah, I was trying to be really mindful of that.
Yeah.
But I just had so much fun. I think, again, I got to roll almost like every coloured belt again. And that was my theme. I wanted to keep the whole weekend is roll every single coloured belt. Yeah. Because I'm not going to, like, when I go home, I'm not going to have this chance for a really long time. So I really wanted to make sure I got the most out of rolling everyone and rolling people my size and my level. I looked for that because I don't get that very often.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Yeah, I really love the variation too because, especially at our gym here in Albany, like a lot of, like, the two, like you and Caitlin, who are like the blue belts, are both like smaller than me. Like, you know, like they're quite like significantly smaller than me. And so like it's really good for me to be able to roll with girls that are either like equally as big as me or bigger, and just to be able to have that different type of challenge, or the way that I roll has to change because there's certain things that I can't do, or the things that I can now do, or whatever it is. So that was really a highlight for me.
And you didn't have to tone it down because of like size.
Yeah.
You just got to have fun with it.
Yeah.
It was so good. Just every time that we talk about it, I just like so good. It was kind of, and we got like heaps of photos as well that before that session.
Yeah.
It was so funny. We were going through looking at on all the photos afterwards, and Joe's just like totally blasé in half of them. She has a resting bored face.
Oh man.
In so many photos, she's
by that Saturday afternoon, I was just sort of in my own world. I just get in this zone where I really just daydream and zone out. My mind is just like super like white noise, and my face just looks bored and super uninterested in whatever's going on. So there's like photos of there were like a couple of instances where like taking a photo and everyone's looking one way at the camera, and I'm just like looking off the other way, like, and I just look. Oh my god! And then there's like this one instance where like we were coming back inside, and I didn't hear them say that they were doing masters photos. So it was like women that were 30 and plus. And so, like, I just saw people gathering for a photo, and I was like, oh, I better get in there because they're doing photos. So I just, like, jumped in this photo that was for masters, and I'm not a master.
What are you, 25?
I was just like, oh, get in this photo. I got off, and you're like, you're not a master. I was like, I know, I just realized that. I was like, fuck. But
we went and went through all Fiona's photos, and we're just like, "Where's Joe?"
Trying to find photos of me just looking like bored Joe.
We found a few. We found a few
funny ones, and found one that severely disappointed me. Was like a string of 3 photos of me rolling in no-gi, and I genuinely thought that this particular pair of spats that I owned weren't see-through, or at least not that see-through, because when I look down on my thighs, they look really thick and dark, and they've got like some other colors on them that I'm like, these aren't see-through, like they seem really thick. And then there's this photo of me like taking someone's back, and it's like literally like a picture of my ass, and you can see like the triangle of my underwear through my pants, which I had a hectic wedgie going on for one thing, and like my underwear looked like granny panties pulled all the way up as high as they possibly can go up my back, and you can see my ass, and I was just it was so disappointing to see. And I just have to apologize to everyone at the camp and at my gym for seeing my ass on the regular occasion through these spats, and every other spats I own, because they are see-through. But this particular pair I took to camp because I was like, these aren't see-through, I'll be all good. And I purposely don't wear little mini shorts under them because I thought they weren't see-through. Turns out they are. So I apologize, and that was horrendous and disappointing.
It's so funny going through camp photos, and like, because you don't look at anyone else except I'm looking for you. I don't even care what
some other people from Mitsu found this photo of me looking the other way while everyone's looking the other way, and like zoomed in on my face and screenshot it and send it to me with like a little funny caption, and they were like, haha, and I was like, fuck.
It's so good. Fiona got so many good photos.
Yeah. She did a great job with the photography.
She just captures everyone in the moment. And
Yeah.
I reckon that's a really hard thing to do with photography and people moving that fast.
Yeah, and I think people always try and get like the really cool action shots, and like while she got some really awesome action shots, she also just got some really good just candid moments between people too, which was
so awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. We also had a dude from the guy from MMA Media was there. He videoed the whole thing as well.
So I think there's a doco coming out on it.
Yeah. Because he did a doco on Liv, and he's also done one on Jess Fraser specifically now too. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I actually really want to watch them. I'm so interested. Anyway,
They're pretty good.
I digress again. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, after the
And we had the drone guy.
and the drone guy.
Which was kind of like, when it went up, you're just like, there's a big bug in here.
Oh man, like it psyched me out every single time it went up. It was like made that huge bug sort of like dragonfly-ish type noise. I was like, wow! And
every time.
Yeah. Oh, every time. It hell psyched you out. But it was good. It got some really awesome footage, I'm sure. Yeah, and then after that we had the beach ball. Well, we had dinner first.
Which, again, was awesome.
Yeah.
But could have done with some chocolate.
I really wanted dessert so bad. I was like, I want a chocolatey dessert, like some cake or some ice cream. Like a chocolate lava cake would have been so good.
You don't ask for much, do you?
I know. No. They could have fit it into the budget, okay? I would have paid an extra $20 in my camp fees to chuck in a chocolate lava cake there. All right? That would have been so good. Or sticky date pudding. Oh my God, that would have been so good.
That would have been amazing.
Yes.
But still, it was good food.
It was awesome food. I just wanted some dessert. But they did warn us to bring some snacks and that sort of thing. But I didn't bring chocolate because I knew that I was going to eat it.
Well, you know,
all.
to next time to bring chocolate.
No, because then I'll eat it all.
You can give it to me.
Yeah. No, I won't want to share it. I know. I know. Like, I specifically didn't buy chocolate. I bought some lollies because I can portion control better with them. With like something like chocolate, I just knew that I'd just be like, bit more, bit more, bit more, and it would be gone. Like a whole block would have been gone in probably 24 or 48 hours. And I was just like, probably shouldn't. So I didn't. And then I was like, I want chocolate. But I'm so addicted to sugar right now. It's so bad.
That
evening
we had the beach ball, which was so good.
Yeah.
Some people just got so dressed up and had mad costumes. They were so awesome. So impressed with.
Some of them were hilarious. There was like a mermaid with like flashy shoes. Jess was like an elaborate swan thing going on with wings and all that sort of thing.
There was a lobster, I think.
There's a lobster. Some of them were hilarious. I don't know how people managed to pack that in because I didn't have any packing space, so I didn't bring a costume. There were some people who didn't dress up either, so we weren't the only ones, at least.
I totally thought I was going to bail early because I was so tired.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I probably won't, partake that much. Everyone can have their fun. I'm just going to go to bed. But then I think I went and got a cup of tea and sat on the wall outside, and then ended up in a conversation with like a little 4 group of people, and it was really awesome because we just ended up talking till like midnight or something. It was good, really good times.
I practically did the same thing, like sat down at a table, like made a cup of tea, sat down. Apparently we didn't go to bed until 2:00. I got told the next morning. I was just like, I kind of was like, I'm tired now. I'm like trundled off to bed. And then, I didn't even look at what time it was. It was like 2:00. It's like so much for just chilling and going to bed probably early because you're tired.
Yeah.
It was so awesome because they had a campfire, but I was meant to go down to the campfire.
Yeah.
But then just totally got engrossed in conversations that we were having.
Yeah.
Then the marshmallows came to our table.
Yes. I don't know how I missed the snacks and marshmallows that went to your table because I was outside and you were inside. I saw you sitting inside and I don't know how I missed that, and I'm so disappointed because
it was so cool. Kind of that day, we just completely separated. We kind of had some toing and froing together.
Yeah,
but
we didn't really see much of each other, and we were just happy just to do our own thing and make our own connections, and like we didn't drill together. It was like we didn't even talk about it. We just knew inherently that we weren't going to drill together. So I'm like, we get enough each other at home.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's branch out today on Saturday. So that was really awesome. And
I think it's really good, and we're lucky to have that type of friendship that we don't need to be in each other's bubble.
I was
and...
like, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Totally ignored me on Saturday.
You didn't sit next to me.
What kind of friend is you? Is you?
Jesus. That's good. You're still tired, love.
So late.
So like Sunday, we same deal. Should have gone up and gone to yoga, but
same deal. I didn't get to sleep again at 3.
We didn't.
But yeah, so gave yoga a miss. Would have liked to have done it, but
I think I slept in a little bit longer than the morning before.
I actually slept till 8 on Sunday, and then we kind of just like both got up, and went down to breakfast, and
got our day started.
Yeah. What was it first? We had Heather Rafferty's no-gi seminar
and the loud offensive lycra, and there was some very offensive lycra.
There was some interesting stuff going on. Like there was people in Ninja Turtle costumes.
Their face,
their face was like etched in this permanent smile. So it was like hard to take it seriously. They just always look happy. There was like a Deadpool and something else that was hilarious. I can't remember now.
I think there was someone, I don't know, one of those morph suits.
It was like a morph suit or something.
So good.
Yeah. So me and Hannah both wore our Karaji, what's the word? Rashies. I was gonna say lycra. Rashies, because they're both pretty loud. And there was actually probably 4 other girls wearing the same one as mine. It was the Karaji Critters Rashi, and there were like 4 others were like, hey, which was good. And Hannah wore the one that was
has all the
jiu-jitsu life sort of rashi.
So I can't remember what it's called actually.
It's jiu-jitsu life or something. I can't remember.
It's good, but it's got everything a jiu-jitsu person needs.
Yeah. I remember when we first analysed it, we're like, is that a finger?
Yeah. You're like,
finger. And
you were kind of turning your head. I was like, what the hell is that?
Could be a penis.
So weird. So weird.
Yeah.
I had these fluorescent yellow Hustler spats on. Yeah. They're so loud and in your face.
And I had the Grapple Apparel pineapple and flamingo spats, which I really like the actual design of those ones because they have a really thick band, which was like the Hustler ones. Because when you have a thick band around your midsection, it's so much better, less muffin top going on and all that. You keep everything in nice and sealed, but they are really loud and they're not really like, I'm much more like a black spats kind of person, and I was just like, I feel a little bit out of place in these ones, but there was another girl wearing the same ones and everyone was wearing loud lycra, so like
you couldn't feel too bad.
I didn't feel self-conscious, but I usually wear them under my gi pants back home because then you get like the little end flash of the flamingos hanging out the bottom, but nothing like too like bam, there they are.
Oh dear. Yeah.
But Heather's seminar was like phenomenal.
I got so much out of that. That just changed my whole mindset towards thinking about jiu-jitsu and how I learn. And
because we didn't do actual specific tech that she was like, here is tech that I am showing to you, replicate it. It was more about the concepts of jiu-jitsu and techniques and then the principles that apply to them. And so she took a specific example that was sweeps. And so we chose our own sweeps and applied the principles to the concept of sweeping.
It amazed me. As soon as she started explaining how she views jiu-jitsu and how she thinks about stuff, is you. Like, I was like, this is how Joe learns. And I started seeing and understanding how you work and how you process everything. And that's why you've picked it up so quickly, is because this is exactly how you process jiu-jitsu. And I was like, oh my God, like it makes so much sense. But it's never been verbalized to me quite in the way she was able to
Yeah,
explain
and
it.
even I have never been able to sort of verbalize or put so concisely the way that I think about my jiu-jitsu and the way that I apply the things that I learn and the things that I decide not to use as well because of that way of thinking. And it's the reason why I experiment a lot with my jiu-jitsu and like the key things that I do. I really trial and error random stuff because I think about the principles within the concept and go, that should work. And there's sometimes little tweaks or whatever. And I've been able to really like experiment with a lot of random stuff that I do. So
it was so good.
Yeah.
And I liked how it made you question what you're doing and ask why it works and what are the principles to why this works, and it made you really start questioning why it all works rather than just being told this is how you do it and you do it. And I think that was just an amazing part. I've never been to anything like it before. And I thought that was just so cool.
It was a very different type of seminar to have. I've never had a seminar that was like that. Not that I've been to a lot of seminars, but out of all the ones I've been to, this one was completely different, a different approach. And I thought it was incredible. I really enjoyed it.
I've brought it home and I find that I'm questioning stuff a lot more.
Yeah.
And going, why does it work? Like, or...
why is this not working?
Yeah, why is it not working? One of the guys that we train with, I get him in a particular pass, like every single time. And I actually, because I was looking on why it works and why I could get to that position, I realized he was doing something wrong. And that was the whole reason that I could get there is because he was stuffing up and I was just capitalizing on it. But I hadn't noticed why that was happening. So I was actually able to kind of go, dude, this is what's happening. This is why I'm getting here. Like, you're better than this. You should be able to stop me. And it was so cool that you can go home and think about stuff and utilize it straight away. I just thought it was so cool.
I agree.
And even how when, like, Chris has been explaining things to me, I've been able to take it on board better. And then when I'm going to drill whatever we've just been taught.
Your mind is starting to highlight the things based on what you've now learned. Like, in your mind, as he says things, your mind actually, like, kind of, like, puts it in bold for you. And so, like, when you go to then drill it, you're like, that's, like, the bold things that I need to think about here.
And I noticed it's been helping me highlight what works for me for the other girls. Because we have two other girls that are very similar size to me. And I'm actually able to kind of go, this is why this particular thing works for me. Or just this part is really important for me. And I didn't have that capability. I was just like, it just works, all right? And I feel like it came from Heather. That's just amazing that you can take on something, like someone gives you a thought pattern to work with and
it's like
you
Inception,
create it.
when they're like, when they like go into the brain and they're like, if we can plan in a thought, then like that will lead to this, this, and this, and this. It's totally what it was like. It's like Inception.
It really was. We got to roll after that.
Actually, on Sunday, we were so fried and tired from the whole weekend, the whole deal, all traveling. And we were sitting there listening to Heather explain, her seminar and that sort of stuff. And then she was like, all right, like, so get a partner and blah, blah. And we were just like, yeah, we're going together. We just knew that we were going together because there's a comfort in going with someone that you are familiar with too. And that Sunday we were like, we just need familiarity right now.
I didn't want to figure out anyone else's movements. Then I thought I wasn't going to roll that much. I had in my head.
I
was
put
like,
a cap on it. I was like,
I'm just going to do 5 or whatever.
5 rolls. And then
I didn't.
5 turned into 6, 6 turned into 7. And I just kept going. And I was like, oh, well, I'm having fun.
It was so intense.
I got to roll with like Jess and Alex Chambers as well, which was sweet.
It was so good. I couldn't believe how much I rolled. And I think my last one, we went like 2 rounds and just had such a fun time. And I felt like she was hunting me the whole time, but it was so good. It was just the most satisfying roll.
Yeah.
So I think that was my last one as well. And I just rolled way too much.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, that was my level. Like, I was just like,
you hit your
I'm
peak
done.
and you're like, oh, yeah, that's it. Because we had to hustle up for lunch then.
And then we had to get, like, all our bags ready to go
Yeah.
to get ready to be off the island for the end of it.
Because the next seminar was Jess Fraser's one, and was at 1 instead of 4:30 this time. So having like a seminar from 9 till 11 or 12ish, whenever it was, like, and then having lunch and then getting straight back there to do training again an hour later was a bit of a grind, and we were pretty fried and tired. But I still really enjoyed the technique that Jess did, because she, as she said, like, she actually changed it from what she'd intended to do to something that really fit in with what we'd done with the previous 2 seminars. And I thought that was really awesome.
It's so awesome that someone can do that.
Yeah, do it
Just
on the
like-
fly.
just-
Like,
yeah,
I
I've got
changed my
this.
mind. I'm just going to teach them something else. They've got so much in their pocket, but I really enjoyed that tech too, and I've actually started implementing that a lot in my rolls, particularly my gi. When I've had some gi rolls, I found that tech to be actually really solid.
To be honest, I didn't take any of it in.
Straight over the head.
I was so tired and I burned myself out so badly that I think because I hadn't eaten much lunch that day either.
Yeah.
When I get tired, I don't eat that well. I tried, but that's like just how it is. So I actually ended up stopping and then going to get lollies so I could get my blood sugars back up, because I just crashed and burned.
Yeah.
And I was just staring at Jess when she was teaching, and I was like,
You're like, oh.
I'm not seeing nothing. But once I sat out and got some lollies, some sugar into me, I actually was able to take in what everyone else was doing.
Yeah.
But I feel bad that I didn't participate because I ruined myself the last
we did
session.
roll pretty hectically in the morning, because I think we were some of the last ones on the mat in the morning. Again. And so, yeah, by the time we had to sort of like go back to the second seminar, we were just like, no. It's not happening, dog.
So, lesson learned, but I probably will do the same thing again.
So I know, like, a lot of people over that seminar actually started just kind of like tapping out because, and there was no rolling at the end of that one, for that reason. But over the course of it, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, I've hit my limit."
Yeah.
Because
it's slowly everyone just thinned out, and I was like, "How do you?" The people who stayed on there, I was like, "How are you guys focusing?"
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had such bad sleep deprivation too. I was so looking forward to a good night's sleep, because I'd gotten to sleep like ridiculously late both nights. Not from lack of trying, but you know,
it was so good. It was so satisfying to be that exhausted though.
Yeah,
because the whole weekend was so good. Just there was so much positive vibes going on, and
we had
so
like,
much learning, and
had some really nice like closing speeches as well. The way that went was really heartwarming, and it really just capped off the whole weekend.
And having so many high level females there was just amazing. You don't get that experience anywhere else.
Yeah, because we had 6 black belt females that weekend, and a handful of browns and a fair few purples and
heap of blues
and a heap of whites too.
Heap
so
of
it
whites.
was like,
it was really... it was so good to have that high level people, and it's so heartwarming to have these high level women investing back into everyone else.
Yeah,
and I love how they're all so different. You've got world champions, or you've got someone who just kept rocking up every week.
Yeah, like Robin was an awesome example of someone who just like she's not,
one of my heroes.
Yeah, she's not a world champion and done, been on Instagram and everyone knows who she is and that sort of stuff. It's just like she's just someone that she's like a pioneer. She's like a jiu-jitsu pioneer, where she's just always just kept turning up year up, like, time after time after time. And you know, she's gotten her black belt in the end. She's got so much knowledge to pass on, and she continues to pass it on to her students. And she didn't have any females to roll with or look up to as she was going through that too.
It's just, I love seeing all those people coming together and sharing their knowledge and their take on jiu-jitsu. It's so cool because they're the ones that really paved the way for all of us who've just started now and who've made it bigger and better.
Yeah.
It's because of these awesome females that are up the top who've just kept plugging away at it. And like, those people, there's a warm spot in my heart for all of them because I know how hard it is to just keep going, and they kept going, and it's so cool.
To grit your teeth through it, because like, I don't think many of the guys actually understand. Like, I know that they have their own grind where they go, like, they've just got to keep turning up and their body hurts and stuff. But as a girl, like, you get beaten up like, so much more, and your body is not as resilient, which I've recently, like, really sort of been thinking about a lot because my body's just been breaking down on me, and I'm just like, I have to accept that my body isn't as resilient as a guy's, and to have periods of times where your body is just failing you, it's super frustrating, but it's really character building to go, like, I'm going to give my body the rest it needs, and then I'm going to pioneer and fight through it. And you continue, and then you come back after, you know, not that like you have time off, or even if you have, like, because I'm actually currently having a week off for my body because it's kind of breaking down on me at this point. But
you've had, like, it's been hectic though.
Yeah.
Like, you've asked your body to do so much in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And you've got to expect that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so to have that week off and give myself permission to have time off, for one thing, mentally for me is hard, but I thank myself because in a week's time I'll feel a lot better, and then I continue on and I continue the journey. And I know that I saw someone post recently on one of the forums about she was feeling really, like, disheartened about coming back because she just feels like she's not progressing, and she just feels like shit all the time. She goes good and then bad and good and bad. It's like the jiu-jitsu journey is about fighting through those low points to get to the high points again, and then you hit low points and high points all the time. But what shows your character is getting through that,
and how you manage them as well.
And
you get better at managing them, I reckon. You just, like, to start off with your shit, and then you realize what works for you and what doesn't. But you can't expect to bounce back, like, after being at camp and learning so much and traveling. You can't, it's such a high. So you've got to kind of expect that you're going to go through a bit of a plateau stage and a bit of a dip in energy.
Some people were training on the Monday.
I have no idea how they managed
and
that.
I was like, what the fuck? I have got nothing left in me. To be fair, we had a horrendous night when we left the camp. So after... I'll keep this chronologically. So we hustled to get our stuff together. We got our bags together, got on the boat, and we were, like, chilling on the boat. Someone brought us chocolate, which was...
Angel.
Oh, yes.
That person
that
was the best
like,
person ever.
It was like in Harry Potter when there's Dementors and you lose your soul and you feel really... Well, not lose your soul, but you feel really, like, despair, and you're like, oh, I'm so wiped out from the Dementors, and then you eat chocolate and you feel warm and fuzzy again. That's what it felt like on this boat. Not that I'm saying the camp was like a Dementor, which it wasn't. It was a great experience, but I was feeling wiped, and then this chocolate was just, like, enough to just boost me through the rest of the day.
It was so good. We were greedy and took two.
Yeah.
Like, can we have two?
Two, please.
Awesome.
We got on the train and sat in silence for like an hour. We were like, let's just not talk. Yes, we're in the quiet carriage. We'll just be quiet because we don't want to talk.
I don't think we actually agreed that we were going to be quiet. It's just like...
It was just like, yeah, I got nothing. And, we got to the station, hustled and walked to our Airbnb because we're like, let's just, like, fucking crash.
We were so excited about getting to our Airbnb.
I was like, everyone else has to fucking fly back tonight. Fuck your lives. And I was like...
We literally opened the door to our place and was like,
no.
Damn damn it, we should have got a flight back home.
We were just like, this is not what I wanted. This is the situation we had. So it was like, I got an Airbnb thinking that it was like, just, I don't know what I thought, but it was like a room with 2 single beds in it, and I was like, that should work, nice. But it was like, the place was an apartment.
Actually,
an older apartment.
I haven't asked you, did you look at photos?
Yeah, but it didn't. I did, and the photos made it look good, which they always do.
Good
and
angles.
They only showed like the kitchen, the living room, and the one room that they were Airbnb-ing out. But it turns out there's 3 other bedrooms in the place that get Airbnb'd out. So it was like a mini hostel situation where it was like there's 4 rooms and they all individually Airbnb'd out. But like the living room and kitchen are like common, and I was like, what the fuck? And our room was this little fucking box of a room with 2 single beds squeezed in there.
So if you can imagine Harry Potter lives like his bedroom under the staircase,
Yeah,
that's practically what it was.
It was a box, and there
So
was
stuffy.
no ventilation because there was no window in there. Someone had placed a token fan, which thank fuck for that. Otherwise, I would have wanted to kill myself. But it was so stuffy and humid, and we wanted to be able to sleep, but we couldn't, and we're like, let's get some Uber Eats because I'm feeling pretty hungry. I just want some like
Good
food. We're like, Mexican sounds great. Got some mini tacos and cheese nachos or whatever they are, and
They were horrible.
it was horrendous. I don't know what that dude did with the transportation of it, but it was just like
Mush.
shaken all up, mushy. It was like
It
so
was terrible.
disappointing. It was so disappointing because I just wanted really good food and then conk out, but no. Shitty food, shitty bed, shitty situation.
We should have just slept on the plane.
Oh god, should have just fucking. Oh.
So lesson learned: don't do that.
Yeah. I woke up. Oh no, I don't think I even got to sleep. I was like, it was 2 a.m. I still hadn't slept, and I decided to go and sleep on the couch. And I finally did get some sleep, and I woke up, and Hannah was on the other couch, and I was like, "Oh, hey, friend."
I was asleep at that stage. I could not sleep.
The only sleep I got was on that couch between 3 and 6 a.m. I reckon, and then 6 a.m. rolled around. We're like, we should probably it 6? Probably. I don't know when.
I don't know.
But we were like, we should probably go back to our room because
Some
there's other
randoms are
people.
gonna
Yeah, there's other
walk
people
out.
in this. So we went back to our room and just sort of wallowed in our misery till it was time to get up.
Yeah, we really dragged our feet getting out, and oh man,
we locked our bags at Central Station, then walked around Sydney for the rest of the day. And Hannah wasn't feeling really good for the first hour or 2, 3. You were wiped, man.
I was so tired.
Yeah.
I felt sick.
Yeah.
I think it was like sleep deprivation and
Good
I think
coffee withdrawal.
coffee withdrawals, my caffeine addiction.
Oh, that's
I
why
think
I'm glad I'm not addicted to coffee.
Caffeine. It's caffeine.
Caffeine, sorry.
It's like I can
do without coffee, but your
mentally.
body can't do without caffeine.
Mentally, I'm like, I don't feel like a coffee, and then my body's like, "Fuck you, man, get a coffee." So we had acai bowls. We've like walked past this place, and we're like, "Yes!"
Yeah,
Get
I just
them.
felt like something fresh. That was perfect.
I only had half of it.
I had the first coffee I'd had in like months and months and months, and I was like, I am pretty dead right now because of like sleep and all that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have a coffee. I don't care. So I had a coffee, and that sort of like mildly perked me up. And then we walked around. We saw the Opera House and the bridge, and we were like, ugh.
And I think we were just appreciating fresh air.
Yeah. 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 We were just like,
Yes.
it's good. And then we found this little coffee shop down an alley because we were like, oh, let's get another coffee. We found a coffee shop down this little alley.
I had two.
It was a cute little cafe too. I thought it was awesome. It was very Melbourne-esque.
And we really got to sit down. I reckon we were sat there for about an hour, was it? Just maybe not even.
Not quite an hour, but a fair while.
And we
sat
just
there,
talked
we're like,
about the weekend as well.
Yeah,
and
just debriefed a bit.
Debriefed. It was so good.
Yeah, I had another coffee, so that like got me to 2, and I was just like, after about 15 minutes, I was like, I feel good now. Like, I can seize the day now.
And after my second one, I was the same. I was
Yeah. just
like, I can take over the world.
Yeah, and I don't, like, because I don't have coffee that much, especially in, like, the last 6 months. I don't usually rely on that. But, like, this time I was just like, I need it.
You needed that.
I was like, I need this in my life. And it was so glorious. And I was like, fuck, I haven't had this in so long. And we just set out after that. We were like, yes.
We walked for, like, hours.
Hours and hours. And we walked with purpose, too.
Yeah, the
we
whole
were like,
time.
seize the day.
We got to see so much stuff.
Yeah,
it was
we went to
awesome.
the observatory to see, like, the hill, the bridge from the hill and that sort of thing. We walked in the rain for a bit and we're like, this is nice.
Yeah.
We didn't even care.
Weirdos.
I know. That was good. We ended up having a really nice day just walking around for 4 hours, really, and then headed to the train station to catch our flight. Got there really early because our flight wasn't till 9 or something.
We weren't allowed to check in until like 7 or something along
Yeah,
those lines.
so we just sat and watched our iPads
which
for a while.
was so good because
we
we had
just
spent
chilled, yeah.
like all day
I
walking.
think we were walking and on our feet for probably like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. It was really good to just chill and enjoy a cup of tea and watch our Netflix
Yeah.
and just be happy. And then we got exit rows. We're like, yes, our luck is changing.
That was so good. She offered, as we were like checking in, she was just like, "Oh, do you guys want exit row on the emergency exit seats?" And we're like,
Yes.
yes, thank fuck yes.
Can you assist in emergency? Yes, we can.
Yes, can.
Yes, we can.
I will do my civic duty. Get me on that fucking seat.
And then
I was so happy for that.
both the rows in front of us became empty. So then when we took off, we had like all the leg room we wanted.
Yeah,
It
that was so
good.
great. We both just like sprawled out on the seat and flew back. Got in it like
So I felt like we had a win.
yeah. After all our tribulations of the weekend, without other flying and all that sort of thing, I was like, yes, the universe is giving us some good for once.
Yeah.
Good karma.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then we got home about 11
Yeah.
and then drove 4.5 hours.
I slept so good that night though.
Yeah, we
I was
stayed in Perth and then came back.
Yeah.
4.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
And I came home and slept all day. Got home about 12.
Mm.
I sat on the couch and I did not get up until about 5 and I thought I better move around. Went to bed about 8 and slept all night. And it's like, oh, comfy bed. That's what I dreamed about the night before when we slept in their bed.
Yeah. Like, this is what I want.
Oh, it was so good. But just the whole weekend, I couldn't, apart from our flights, once we were at the camp, I can't fault it.
Yeah.
It just, if you have the opportunity to go to one of the Australian Girls and Geek camps, do it. Don't think about it. Don't make excuses to why you can't do it because you're not going to get this opportunity that much. Like,
yeah. And especially don't worry about, because this is something that always was on my mind about it, is that it can be really dangerous to have so many girls in such a small space. And I was like, man, there's bound to be just like awkward girly bitchiness or just that vibe of like, I don't know who I can hang with or whatever, like bullying or whatever. I don't know. There's always something, like I'm always really sketchy about being around so many girls because, childhood trauma. But no, it was not like that at all. There was no hint of it throughout the whole weekend.
it was just the whole weekend how I like that it started from standing and went to the ground and like it addressed every part of jiu-jitsu in a different way that I've never really experienced before. And it was so holistic. This camp was just so lucky. Like I was so grateful to be there and to share it with you as well. I think it's awesome to share these experiences with you because I've explained to you that was my third camp that I've been on. Yeah. And I don't think you got it until you went to a camp yourself. Yeah. And you're kind of like, oh yeah, like I want to go.
I couldn't fathom it really.
Yeah. And I realized it's something that you can't explain really well. You have to go and experience it for yourself in order to understand how good it actually is. And I think that is the key, like, to just go and experience stuff like this.
Yeah.
Put yourself in that, like, uncomfortable zone.
Yeah.
And see what happens, because it's just it was so good. I just can't fault it in any single way.
Yeah.
It is so good.
I agree.
So many talented people. And everyone brought something awesome to the table. Every single person that I rolled gave me something, and I love that.
Yeah, I loved being able to give back as well. Like, because I know sometimes, like, white belts worry about rolling with higher belts and being like, I don't want to, to waste their time by rolling with them and stuff. But, like, for me, it was really awesome to have those rolls in between the hard rolls to go, like, I can slow it down and give you something of me and my jiu-jitsu. And there's something really awesome about that too. So,
Jess Fraser, you did such an awesome job. Really appreciate everything that you do for females in jiu-jitsu. Like, a lot of this stuff, I think, and the community that Australian Girls in Gi has, like, that you've created, and all the other girls that have come on board, I just think it's something really special. And to have this community in Australia, like, we are so lucky.
Yeah.
I still, every time I go over this, I grin and I smile, and I think of all just these cool little moments that we've had.
Yeah.
And that's something so special.
Oh, there were so many golden moments.
So many. Thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed us talking about our journey with Australian Girls in Gi Camp for 2019.
Yeah. Hopefully there's another one that some people can get on board with as well. Who knows? But keep your eye out for it, and definitely just take a leap. You just got to jump off in the deep end.
Don't think about it, just do it.
Yeah. All right. That will do it for us today, guys.
Catch ya.
See you later.